USDA out with the crop progress report. Not yet. We don't get it till later today, 4 o'clock Eastern time. Again, delayed because of Monday being a holiday, Memorial Day. All right, we are up and trading though. How about the corn market? Let's look at it. It's been in mixed territory. July contract ticking higher. The deferred contracts though in the red, 448.5. That's off 2 1/4 cents. This corn market has been slightly higher over the past week, but you look at the past 30 days, it's down 5%. And where are we this year? Year to date, even, neither higher nor lower. Soybeans, though, have been up 5.5% year to date. November at 10.52 1/4, it's a penny 3/4 higher. Now, soy meal contracts have been under pressure today. They're down actually nearly 7% year to date, but soy oil has been leading the complex higher across the board on a market that's up over 23% year to date. All right, from that over to the wheat market. Before we get over to Chris Swift, who's with Swift Trading, July Chicago 531 3/4. That's down 10 3/4 cents. Over for hard red, or what we call Kansas City, 526 1/4. It's 12.5 lower. And then spring wheat in Minneapolis is lower as well. Cotton market moving higher. December at 69.06. It's up 43, but look at July, October, December. You won't see a 70 in there. That appears to be a ceiling that cotton just can't break through. Chris Swift is with Swift Trading. All right, those are our feed grains, if you will. What do you see with that corn market? Again, a little pressure there.
A little bit, not as much in that, but you mentioned the crop progress report coming out this afternoon. And the one thing I noticed, I got to do it in West Tennessee a little bit this past weekend, is how wet it is. And I'm talking about enormously wet. Bottomland fields will have to be replanted. And that's where we get, when you look at a map of where grains are planted, that delta is a huge area for soybeans. Not as much corn, they get some corn, but it's a huge area for soybeans. We're already 4.5 million acres short this year of soybean planted acres. We think that the crop progress is just kind of fair right now on the beans, and especially up north where they're not getting any heat. They've got some moisture up there, but no heat. So there's one market that we've really got our eye on, and that is the bean market. Last week, we saw bean oil get pummeled when the EPA came out and said, we're not going to give you the mandates of what you want, and then right back up it goes again. So whatever that instance was blown over real quick like. Now it seems like beans, and look at meal. Meal at a very, very low price, just right at $300 a ton, a little over. So those type aspects are things, when things are cheap and kind of an inflationary world, we want to try to look for those things.
And you mentioned the feed side of this. Really, we've seen prices retreating, if you will, for most of our feed grains, or even, we talk dairy, they feed them cottonseed,
sure.
So those prices have been retreating as well. So definitely a positive, a negative for the growers,
right,
but a positive for the feeders.
Anybody that's in there is feeding those stuffs. So,
all right. Yep. Speaking of the feeders, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll pick up the livestock markets. Market Day report continues in a moment. Cattle on feed report came out after the close on Friday, so traders just now getting a whack at it. And really no surprises when you look at the on-feed number of 98.5%, right in line with trade expectations. Placements 97.4% compared to year-ago levels. Again, right in line with trade expectations. And you can finish the sentence here, but marketing's at 97.5%, right in line with trade expectations. Okay, so how are we trading? Let's go to live cattle futures first. And we're seeing red. June contract, though, at $214.90. It's down 90 bucks, 17 lower on August at $209.27. Feeders, we've already been above $300 on both the August and September contracts. Now below that 3 handle at $299.07. On the August, it's down $1.40. September $297.97. down $1.37. And then the hog trade, hogs have been down 4 consecutive sessions, trying to break that streak today. June, July, and August all in the red. Chris Swift is with Swift Trading. Let's start with cattle. We had cash cattle, we had cattle on feed. That's what traders came to work to see today.
Right. And we are now in a master's class of rationing. Every product that we know of hit an all-time new high last week, starting into this week. So rationing is probably the #1 thing that's on everyone's mind right now. It's a critical stage because there are some that won't be able to live through the rationing. Some will benefit very great through it, but probably the consumer is the one that'll get hurt the worst. So all beef prices, all fresh beef prices, a new high. We got box prices at new highs, and probably going to stay there for a little while. We continue to ration the number of cattle. We are starting to see some very slow signs of expansion, but again, we're probably 2.5 years away from anything, if we started today, having an impact on the market.
Yeah, especially now that you are starting to see some of those dry areas get the moisture and starting to green back up. They'll have to have something to harvest that grass.
And again, kind of like what we talked about in the grains, everybody's got a little bit of something different. There's not a perfect growing area out there, and it's the same way for our pastures. We haven't been able to cut hay on the farm because it's been way too wet. Similarly, that's across all of most of the southeast there, and now we see some planting delays, and we go out to the west, and they really could use some moisture, especially a little bit west of Dallas there. You know, Dallas east is a little bit wet, but everything beyond that, especially Nebraska, western Nebraska, all has some drought areas in there. So that'll be crucial, is to see when we go into the summer, are we going to be able to hold those cows and heifers on the farm as we want to continue that expansion.
And before we go, Mexican cattle not coming across the border, the feeders, because of New World screwworm. Any thoughts on that?
No, I'm going to keep my mouth shut on that.
All right. All right. Well, I threw the bait out there.
I'm not going to take that.
Reel it in, and he wouldn't
I'm not
take
going to take that.
Oh, well, it's good. It's always great to see you, Chris.
Absolutely, Tony. It's a pleasure to be here.
Had to throw in a fishing reference there as well. So that's how we trade on a Tuesday.
Good update. Thanks, guys.